Hi, my name is Chris Hunt and this is Jevin Vinn. We are agronomy solution specialists from Thompsons Limited, and we're here today to talk to you about the most important service we offer, which is soil sampling. Today we're going to go over how we sample, why we sample, the different services of soil sampling we offer, and also what do you do with the results once you have them. There are many reasons to soil sample. Three of the most important that I come to think of is, one, it really gives you a starting point of what to do. Without the soil sample, it's really hard for someone like myself as an agronomist to make a recommendation and tell you what types of fertilizer and at what rates would really get you to the goals you're looking to move towards. Secondly, when you start to think of your soil as a bank account, you can start managing your income with your soil samples. So when prices are low on fertilizers and you need to build your soil test levels up, this is when you invest more, because in times when you need to save money, you can start drawing down on those higher levels you have built up in your soil. This is especially true with people with clay soils, as they have high capacities to hold the nutrients. And then lastly, through routine analysis and tracking previous soil tests compared to most recent ones, you can start to identify trends and really learn, is your fertility program performing and doing things you wanted it to do? Is it getting you to the test levels you wanted to, and are you getting the responses you're looking for? At Thompsons, we offer many different types of soil sampling, but the three main services we offer would be bulk sampling, which is basically a large composite of the field, site-specific, which is traditionally known as a grid or a point-based sample, and then more recently we've been adding intensive zone-based sampling. And this type of sampling method is really the way of the future and the way we're progressing forward with sampling techniques. So the first and the least intensive type of service we offer would be known as bulk sampling. And this is basically the type of soil sampling that government agencies have recommended for many, many years. It involves taking one sample per 25-acre section of the field. Bulk sampling has many limitations, but the two most important is, one, it only really gives you a general fertility estimate because it's such a large area that you're sampling. And then secondly, you can't really utilize this data for variable rate management. It misses too many of those smaller problem areas or good areas of the field, and you're not going to end up applying the proper rates to the fertilizer. So when you think of a bulk sampling, it's really the bare minimum you want to do to get you some sort of starting point of what's going on in the fertility of your field. And it's really going to only identify major issues of the field and not specific problems. So for those reasons, we rarely recommend it to the growers, because it doesn't really give you the data or the information needed to make good decisions.
The second type of soil sampling that we offer here at Thompsons is site-specific or point sampling. This consists of overlaying a grid over a field, either a 1-acre grid, a 2.5-acre grid, or a 5-acre grid, with 2.5-acre being the most common. In each one of these grid areas, the soil sampler will take a representative sample of that area in one specific location. The benefits to site-specific sampling is that it'll allow you to be able to variable rate apply fertilizer to certain areas. It allows for more precise placement as well. Another neat thing is that we encourage soil sampling once every 4 years or so on average, and the nice thing about that is you can go back to those values and you can see how the soil test levels have changed from when you soil sampled last. The main limitation of site-specific sampling is that the area sampled really goes by the sampler's judgment of where to take that sample from. So for example, if we have a grid area that has somewhat of a knoll on part of it and somewhat of a low area on another, the sampler might have a rough time deciding where to put that certain point because there is so much variability in a grid cell. So that's the limitation that we're going to face. And so this is where zone sampling really fits in.
The last and the most intensive type of soil sampling we offer is known as intensive zone sampling. In recent years, this has become to be more of the norm for a lot of growers in our area, and as an industry as a whole, we're really working towards zone-based approach sampling. The big benefit of zone-based sampling is you're sampling areas of the field that are very defined and are based off of some sort of data of the field. Often we take yield maps, soil maps, or even things such as NDVI imagery from in-season to develop areas of higher production and lower production within the field, and then section those off and basically take a bulk sample from those individual sections. So you can come to think of them as kind of a bulk sample, but incredibly intensive, because the zones are often from a 1/2 acre maybe up to 8 acres in size. And the way we decide on the zones is really what the data tells you and the grower's opinion of it. The one thing to remember about zone sampling is you don't need to have yield data, you don't need to have a lot of imagery for your field. Don't feel like you need to have all this data to get started. We have many growers that have successfully started zone sampling by simply using satellite maps we have from things such as Google Earth with the grower's knowledge and experience of the farm to divide it up into logical splits of where he notices issues. And often we see the soil colors from those Google Earth or the satellite image maps. At Thompsons, we put a big effort on environmental stewardship when we look at fertilizer management. And zone sampling really provides the best means today to fertilize effectively both for crop yields and protecting the environment. By doing zone sampling, you can target, say, erosion-prone areas of your field specifically and apply different rates in times of the year when erosion is prevalent, say maybe the fall. So now that we have those side hills or the creek flats sectioned off, we can apply less phosphorus to those areas in the fall specifically and limit the amount that might be eroded into the watershed.
I'm here today with Grant Alge. He's our agronomy technician that we have here on staff, and Grant's actually going to show us in a few moments how a soil sample is taken. But first off, I want to explain what a soil sample consists of. A soil sample consists of 12 different cores at 6 inches deep, which equates to about a pound of soil. Once it's mixed together from a pail, put into a bag, so you get about a pound total. There's two different ways that we take soil samples. One is kind of the older method of using, or the conventional method of using a hand probe, which again goes into the soil 6 inches deep. We just recently moved to an automated soil sampler, and this has been really nice for us because it takes consistent samples over and over again. And it also increases time and efficiency for us. So Grant here, he's going to demonstrate to us how a soil sample is taken with the automatic probe that we use here, and it's run off a Honda motor with hydraulics, and that's kind of what gives it the power to be able to take that soil sample. All of our soil sampling services that we do here, we utilize GPS technology to be able to record those locations of those sample points.
For all soil sampling services, growers have an option of various nutrient packages from basic to complete. A Thompsons agricultural consultant can help select the most appropriate package based on the grower's crops and individual goals. Additional tests can also be added to these packages for some or all sampled areas. Some of the most common tests added include carbon and nitrogen ratio, soil texture analysis, soluble salts, and nematode analysis. If you are interested in soil testing, please inquire at your local Thompsons branch.